Hello and welcome to the Capital Gains Tax Solutions podcast, where we believe most high net worth individuals and those who help them, they struggle with clarifying their capital gains tax deferral options. Not having a clear plan is the enemy, and using a proven tax deferral strategy such as the Deferred Sales Trust is the best way for you to exit highly appreciated cryptocurrency, real estate business, defer millions of dollars of capital gains tax so you can create and preserve more wealth, or help your clients, friends, family, investors do the same. Hey, I'm your host, Brett Swarts, and each episode I'm joined by some of the best real estate, financial, crypto, and business minds in the world, where they share their ideas, deal stories, and inspiration. So together we can make complex tax deferral strategies simple and passive income plans achievable. Hey, I'm excited about our next guest. We're going to be talking about the future of real estate and crypto. And he was actually recently 2020 the Think Realty Multifamily Investor of the Year. And he began his career as a full-time college pastor in San Diego, California. But he now brings that same passion and vision for transformation to the world of real estate and cryptocurrency. Please welcome to the show with me, Ellis Hammond. Ellis, how you doing, brother?
Brett, what's up, man? It's always fun to rap with you, dude. Excited to be here.
Absolutely. And for our listeners getting to know you for the first time, would you give us a little bit more about your story and your current focus?
I'm in San Diego, best city in the world. My southern accent gives me away, though. I'm not from here. I grew up in South Carolina. Moved here to San Diego, actually, man, to go into pastoral ministry. That was my heart and passion for a long time. My faith is still incredibly important to what I do, all that I do. But, about, 4 years into that ministry and building that, I realized that we needed vehicles that could also build and create wealth to support the things we love. I had no idea. I had no idea how to go create that, build that. So I think anybody, I found the vehicle of real estate, and it made a lot of sense. And, now I'm a full-time real estate entrepreneur. I like to say our focus is multifamily, and we're finding ways, we're finding deals to create investment opportunities for our investors, for me, for my family, to give people a real shot at building wealth, creating margin so that they can support the things that they love. And that's kind of the mission that we're on, man.
Fantastic. Yeah. And we got connected at the conference down in Manhattan Beach a few months back. Well, we podcast before that, but then we met in person.
Yeah.
And before we get started too far into this, you talked about wanting to do a little plug for Reels. So talk about this Instagram Reels.
No, I just thought it was funny, man. I remember when we first met, and you post a lot of content. I'm like, dude, you got to get on this reel train, man. You got to do some reels. And we did our first reel. I think you got more views on one reel that we did than all of your posts on Instagram probably combined.
I haven't looked at the recent count of it, and we made like a 30-second just random reel. Yeah. But I guess the algorithm was ready for me to make that reel. They're probably pumping me.
They were ready for you, man. The internet's ready for you. It's funny. I actually, just for the sake of focus, I just totally deleted Instagram off my phone, so I can't go check anything right now. So I'm sure it's doing fine. But anyways, go follow Brett. Go follow me on Instagram, and you can see all the ridiculous stuff we do.
Absolutely. It's fun. We try to keep it as lighthearted as we can, but we're talking about some serious stuff with creating and preserving wealth, using different strategies, ways to create and preserve more wealth through cryptocurrency, the future of real estate. And so that's the topic of today's conversation, as well as the future of crypto. So Ellis, what's the biggest secret you're seeing right now? The biggest insight you'd like to share with our listeners when it comes to the future of real estate and crypto?
Yeah, I love this topic, man. We just started a whole podcast show kind of dedicated to this idea of the future of real estate. And there's a lot. I would just say this. I think it's not something to write off, Brett. I do think it's interesting, man, when I got into this space, and maybe people can relate to this, that wasn't that long ago. Let's call it 5 years ago. Maybe less. This conversation was still happening, this idea of Bitcoin. Now, people who didn't write off Bitcoin 5 years ago are filthy rich, at least who still hold it, right? But when I got into the space of the world of investing, again, everything was brand new to me, right? And so was real estate, and so was crypto. But what I heard from the real estate world was this: don't go invest in crypto. Don't invest in Bitcoin. It's so speculative, blah, blah, blah. And I know all of those guys are regretting not investing in Bitcoin at that time, right? Because it was just not understood. It was literally a new asset class. And I don't think the world had quite understood its uses and its abilities to kind of transform and shape wealth and give access to opportunities. And so I just think, man, we are in a very, very critical time in history in the world of investments, the world of finance, that cryptocurrency, Bitcoin is the largest maybe blockchain and cryptocurrency but I don't want people to get lost in Bitcoin and lose the true transformational power of cryptocurrency and the blockchain across all asset classes, across entire landscape of wealth and access to opportunity, but especially real estate too. So I like to start there, man, because I don't want like people just to kind of write off this conversation and say, oh, they're just talking about crypto or Bitcoin today. I'm not investing in that. Dude, if you don't wake up and realize the juncture that we're at in the landscape of finances, you will no longer not be able to interact with crypto and blockchain and Bitcoin 5 years from now. And so if you don't at least learn kind of what it is, how it's shaping our financial industry, one, you're going to miss out on a massive wealth opportunity. And two, when things begin to kind of move this way, you're going to be left behind. And so that's kind of really what I want to help people get educated on.
Love it, Ellis. By the way, you can connect with Ellis Hammond by searching the Future of Real Estate podcast. That's the Future of Real Estate podcast. Yeah, at the end of the day, I think we're looking at tools, investments for freedom, right? And what does that look like for people in the traditional sense for us that grew up and loved and fell in love with multifamily investment real estate, cash flow, depreciation, passive cash flow, active cash flow, ways to partner with people, be entrepreneurial, serve communities by providing like housing and improve housing. And then cryptocurrency came along and said, hey, we have some freedom for ways to transfer currency to make things quicker, more efficient, more secure, to be able to invest in something that can't just be overinflated, something like Bitcoin that has, just a set amount of number of 21 million coins. And you're looking at the change of what this is providing. In fact, I heard this really cool story recently. I don't know if you follow the Ukraine and Russia, what's going on there. And it shows kind of the heart of a lot of the cryptocurrency investors is that within about a week, $52 million was raised and for some of the Ukrainian government to provide aid and support, and how quickly that was organized and sent over. But that's the type of thing that cryptocurrency can take away a little bit of the power for those that control the printing of monetary, policy, printing money, which inflates the dollar, which can hurt all of us, right? Because they honestly aren't doing it very responsibly, and they're in a tough position. So, any thoughts on any of that, Ellis?
Yeah, I mean, that's so true, man. I mean, it's unfortunate to kind of see the essence of like Bitcoin being so tied to the volatility of the stock market. And I think that was one of the big things that people were hoping Bitcoin would maybe not be so correlated to. So in that way, that has been disappointing, I think, for me as a Bitcoin investor and probably for a lot of the crypto world. But you're so right. Again, it's the idea, it's the model of what the blockchain, again, not talking Bitcoin specifically, Bitcoin is a leader in that, but what that can do and the ability that has to be able to move capital fast. And that's a perfect example, man, of like, again, I'm investments. I deal with this every single day and I have to wait on money being transferred and it takes forever. And it's like, wires have been around for how long? Brett, do you still feel comfortable sending a wire out? Like literally all of my investors are like, I hate sending wires. I'm like, it's so ridiculous, dude, that this is still the way we have to do things. And I know there's different things like ACH transfers and stuff too, but still that's slow. It's like I said, a centralized platform where you have to maybe go through Plaid or you have to go through specific place to be able to do that. What the blockchain will do, man, is exactly what the internet has done for communication. It's going to make things instant, right? Where I can send $1 on any platform and send it to you in whatever Ukraine currency is in an instant. And I think that's huge for things exactly like that. So way beyond, right, wealth opportunities.
Yeah, it's amazing. Transparency and clarity and accountability, right? I mean, you think about just the nature, even this last election, right? And the lack of integrity and just the absolute mess that the voting system is. And you go, they've been doing this for how long, right? And you're going, isn't there a way where we could like match up, numbers of who's voting, who's registered, not having to count those that are, the fake votes that people are dead or something. I mean, there's got to be a mathematical way to solve this, right? I mean, we sent a man to the moon, what 60, 50, 60 years ago. And Steve Jobs created the iPhone and the cryptocurrencies on the blockchain. And so you look at these big challenging things, but there are those in the powers that be that don't want to be as transparent, do not want to be as accountable. And the future of real estate and cryptocurrency can change those things. So let's talk about those two intercolliding, right? Coming together. What do you see as the biggest opportunity for those who are interested in getting into the metaverse, getting in, taking their cryptocurrency, moving into hard assets, into real estate? What's kind of some of your thoughts there?
Yeah, let's talk about one, just the opportunity it's going to create. So, I mean, I do think this is already happening. So it's not like the future. This is the present, and I think it's only going to expand as we get more comfortable with it, right? So as we talk about the future, I don't want people to think, well, that's a cool idea. No, guys, this is happening. People are putting real estate deals on, tokenizing their shares of their real estate and then offering those shares for as little as $1. Like, this is currently happening. You can do this in any syndication deal. You need a 12-month period lockup right now, and then you can tokenize your shares of real estate. And I think the reason why this is so massive is because think about how many folks, not just in our country, but all around the world, do not have access, one, either because of current regulations, or two, because of multiple, but one, because of current regulations, two, because of just where they live, maybe proximity to things, right? And three, because of capital. And how many people don't have access to really great investment opportunities because of capital limitations? And I think there may be other solutions, but I think blockchain is one of those great solutions where all of these folks, I mean, 90% of our country, I mean, I don't know the percentage number, that's a totally made up thing, but a lot of folks, man, are left out because of minimum investments. Right. And you think about what the blockchain can do in essentially creating opportunity for this flood of new people to be able to access great investment opportunities that are in one of the best economies in the world, the United States, where rents continue to appreciate year after year, over a very, 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 very long time. I think that's massive, man. One, that's just going to create a new flood of capital into the real estate market. I think personally, Brett, that has significant implications for the value of real estate. I mean, how can it not, man? When you have kind of this shift of access and opportunity. Again, think about this, dude. The Jobs Act from 2012 made private placement opportunities available for me. I mean, before that, I didn't even have, like, a guy like me would never have opportunity to multifamily syndication deals. Think about that, dude. It was 2012. This was only available to the rich doctors and lawyers and his buddies at the country club. Okay. That was not that long ago. Now think about when blockchain can make that available to any dude with $100, right? And can make that to him instantly. What
right.
that
and I want to make sure I get that point right for our listeners, right? So the ability to have freedom with capital and to put deals together and to syndicate and or to create tokenized portions of certain things. I'm doing an artwork deal right now. It's a big artwork deal for a very famous artist. And he's making his artwork an NFT where people can be a part of something on a small scale and then be able to repurpose and sell that. And so they don't have to be able to afford $1 million to buy a piece of art. They can buy small pieces of that through what's called NFTs and all other things that can be connected with that. And what Ellis is saying is prior to 2012, and for private placement opportunities for multifamily syndicators, it was only separated for somebody else, not for those that are, let's just say, maybe weren't as fortunate to be born into a very wealthy family.
Yeah, or have crowdfunding, right? There was no crowdfunding opportunities. You couldn't make this available to the mass public. So all that's changed. And I'm saying this is the next degree of that. Like, this is we're going to open it up even more. And so, I mean, look at where valuations are for multifamily real estate and real estate across the board because of crowdfunding. There's more money, not just institutional, but now retail. And what that's done to valuations, this is the next wave, man. And
it's amazing. I got a story that's kind of inspirational. It kind of got me thinking here, Ellis. The there's a guy, I don't know if you heard of this guy named Strive Mazawa, and he was a London-based Zimbabwe billionaire. And but when he first started out, it was he was in his the 80s, 90s, and basically he had a dream of making the cell phone service that we take for granted now, right? Spread across Africa. And if you can imagine getting towers up, getting people with cell phone service, how that can change the flow of communication, health, education, just ways to connect, be able to talk to people. And for the longest time, he faced opposition that didn't want to provide regulation and block him from doing this and all kinds of other things. And so I was at the Global Leadership Conference, and this was about 4 years ago, and he spoke. And I had never heard of the guy, and he just got up and spoke, and he starts telling this story. And in one hand, he had the Constitution of Africa, and the other hand, he had the Bible. And he said every day he would go, and he says, how do I unlock freedom for the flow of communication across Africa using cell phone service, right, as a way to do that? And he just talked about all of the challenges and the block and the stop and, not going to happen. And he just had a passion for that. In fact, so much so that the government got upset at his efforts and they put him in jail. And so, but it's kind of cool. It's kind of interesting. They put him in jail for the weekend. So he was allowed to be out of jail for like Monday through Friday. And then like during the weekend, he'd have to go to jail. And so it was kind of a little bit of the Nelson Mandela type of thing for a businessman who's a Christian and is looking for freedom for his business to grow and to spread the cell phone service. So he did this thing for, I think it was a couple of years. And he just keeps fighting and fighting and fighting until finally he gets it to the Supreme Court of Africa and he wins the case, right? And they open it up and he goes on to build massive infrastructure and cell phone towers and it gets the freedom of information. And I'm thinking about the same thing that's happening right now for crypto. And I can't think of the parallels that there's a lot over the years who have wanted to stop it, who wanted to dismiss it, who wanted to ignore it. And we're seeing more and more of adoption and belief, right, that it is the future, that it is changing things. And it's this freedom of capital, transparency, and accountability that comes with with cryptocurrency. So any thoughts on that, Ellis?
Yeah, man, I love that analogy. And I think that's so true. And I think what people fail to realize, maybe who aren't maybe studying this, how many millions of people every single day, Brett, are working on the Bitcoin technology. That's the beautiful thing about it, dude. It's not this, government organization that, you have to like hire people in to kind of go work on the blockchain. Anybody, anywhere in the world can go work on the Bitcoin blockchain. And that's the power of this, dude. And that's how fast and why it's moving so fast, because there's millions of people every single day passionate about this idea of like getting power back to the people and are going to make it work. And so it's like, I think it's really hard to bet against it's maybe one or a few government organizations versus the entire world. And that's going to be very difficult to overcome. Not that it can't, I'm not saying it can't, I'm just saying it's going to be very difficult. And it's a fun time to be alive. It's a fun time to be an investor. It's a fun time to be an entrepreneur because of the opportunities out there.
Which, by the way, I can't help but plug, if you're looking at deferring capital gains tax on cryptocurrency, we want to make sure that you know what's available so that you can legally and ethically exit, defer, and invest using something called a deferred sales trust. And this covers our part of our subject of the show. It's the deal close story of the week. And this comes to the great Silicon Valley area of California. And this particular client of mine, she's working at one of these big tech companies, and she starts buying this Bitcoin, and she starts to dollar cost average. She gets about 30 to 50,000 over a period of time. Now, this is a very, very, this is years ago. She never sells. And guess where her Bitcoin goes? It goes up to $50 million. And she had this huge gain. She still didn't want to sell. Part of why she didn't want to sell is she believed in the future of Bitcoin. The other part of it is she has this huge tax. And this tax is, about 30%, 37% or so of if she were to exit that on the gain, right? And so she finds us and she learns about the Deferred Sales Trust. And she says, you know what? I have a dream of retiring from the tech company and building another tech company, educational company. They want to educate those in essence like a Khan Academy through an app, and that's their passion. Her and her college roommate, and so she wants to fund that dream. And so she exited the 5 million of her 50 million, and was able to defer the capital gains tax, fund the business venture, and also diversify some of the funds as well into other investments. If you want to learn how to do that, you can go to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com. We're super passionate about that. It's capitalgainstaxsolutions.com, and you can get your deferred sales trust education started today. And we look forward to connecting with you. Back to the show. Ellis, what's your biggest frustration when it comes to capital gains tax deferral for cryptocurrency?
Yeah, well, I mean, dude, that's a great story. And this is why I love what the barbell approach, right? Of investing in crypto and investing in real estate, taking crypto gains. And exactly, I mean, that's a great story, right? You can, crypto is a great asset to hold. Sometimes we have great gains and we need to be able to hedge against those gains. You can't really get passive income per se from real estate. So I'll tell you what I've been doing, man. There's a couple ways. One is deferred sales trust. I love that you can take those gains, go through deferred sales trust, and then kind of what we talked about, lend from that to invest in cash flowing assets. That's an incredible strategy that I know you help a lot of clients do. And I think it makes a lot of sense because then you can put that into passive investment opportunities with guys like me. The other thing I really like that I've been doing my crypto is this idea of staking your cryptocurrency. So I stake my Bitcoin and I take a loan off my Bitcoin. So I'm still not paying taxes. And then I can literally at 0% interest, Brett, take the loan off of my Bitcoin and then go invest that into hard assets that are cash flowing. And so I still get to keep my crypto, borrow, and then I invest in hard assets. Now, here's the thing. If crypto just completely tanks, do I lose all my crypto? Yes. But I still own hard assets, right? And I think that's really key is I'm not necessarily buying Bitcoin for Bitcoin. I mean, you could if you really believed in it, but I do think at this point where we're at, you're probably not going to see Bitcoin go from $30,000 to 1 million overnight. It's probably much more likely you see Bitcoin go from 30 to 60 and maybe 60 even back to 20. And so I do think you got to be careful with leverage. So with that said, those are kind of the two strategies I really love. I love the conversations we've had around DST and how you can really help people kind of exit that. Mm-hmm. And if you don't want to exit, you can also stake it and then invest that into hard assets.
Perfect. Two little comments on that. I think that's exactly right. And we would also say the deferred sales trust, you want to make sure you're ready to exit. You think it's a good time to exit, right? And my particular client, she had a $54,000 exit number. At what point it'd be about 50 million. It was her exit. It ended up going to 68,000 about a month later from that number. And she didn't exit, although we talked about exiting there. And the cool thing is you can purchase Bitcoin tax deferred at a discount afterwards, later on with the portions of the funds. You can do a couple things. We call this thing optimal timing, right? Sell high, buy low, sell high, buy low. And if you can do it in a tax efficient way, that's the game changer. But yeah, I do like that idea. I do have a question on that though, Ellis. So when you're staking it, and let's say you're borrowed out, I don't know what LTV you're borrowing out of, and you say it's maybe 0 interest rate, but then your goes to 0. Do you not owe that money back to anybody? Is a bank not asking you to pay anything? Like what's their collateral? Like, don't you still owe that money back?
Is the Bitcoin. I mean, they get no, that's a good question. No, I mean, you would lose. It's because at a certain point, it's not like it would go to 0 and they get their money back. They would take essentially you have a chance, like a margin level where, hey, you need to replace this margin with more Bitcoin. And if it goes below, and if you don't, or goes below that, then they just take that Bitcoin at whatever.
Got it. So let's do an example. So like 54,000, if I would have set that up.
That's a good question. So probably I'll just give you, let me tell you my example. Yeah. I don't know exactly when I put it in at, but my level is $20,000. Bitcoin goes to 20K, and then I have to put more in. And then if that drops down to like 17 or 18, and I haven't resupplied or I haven't put more money in, then I would lose my Bitcoin. And that's pretty much what it is.
Got it. Okay, yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. So that's just like a margin account on stocks as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, you just got to be careful of that. You have to pump some money in there. And then what's the LTV, Ellis, are typically allowing you? So if you had like 1 million of Bitcoin, how much are they allowing you to
I think
borrow
it's
against?
like it's not, you can't get high leverage. I think it's like 30%. So if you had $1 million, I think you could probably take out about 300K.
Got
If
it.
I don't remember exactly, Brett, but it's around that number.
But it's at 0%. That sounds pretty awesome,
Pretty dang awesome, dude. I mean,
right?
literally, you know, 0% interest is, if you can kind of resupply that. And also, I mean, it's very good margin in my opinion. I mean,
Awesome.
maybe
Who do
for
you use?
for
Who do you use
for
to
most
do that?
people.
Set that up for you? Like, what's
Uh,
the group?
it's what's also amazing about this, dude, and this is what's so amazing. I don't have to talk to anybody. Okay, I don't have to. No one has to call me. And in 48 hours, I had $50,000 in my bank account to go fund my real estate deal. So how long it took me? 48 hours. Imagine going to a bank and trying to get a $50,000 loan on any asset, Brett, on anything, dude. How long would that take you?
At least a month, probably,
It
right?
take you a week or 2 weeks or more.
Depends
I
on the
did it in
deal.
48
Yeah.
hours. I never had to change my clothes, shower, talk to anyone. It was unbelievably easy.
By the way, you can connect with Ellis Hammond at by searching the Future of Real Estate podcast. It's the Future of
Yeah,
Real
I
Estate
mean, I don't know
podcast.
why anybody would do that. I mean, listen, if you just like hearing me yell and you rant and talk to, this is my style. I just do it all the time. I love having these conversations. I just love learning, Brad. Like, dude, I was a college pastor. I had no serious knowledge. Like, my dad was an entrepreneur. My mom was an entrepreneur. My dad died when I was 19 or when I was 21, excuse me. And, I went to, I mean, it's not like I was super well educated or like had any like really rich uncle. And so I just always been really hungry, like to just kind of understand what's happening, and I'm open. And I think that's the biggest key, man, to all of this is just being open-minded. Like, I wish I would have been more open-minded when I got in this space and more people were talking about, oh, Bitcoin sucks, Bitcoin sucks. I wish I'd have been like, why? Why does everyone hate it so much? Like, because that woman who was dollar cost averaging was the one who was buying Bitcoin when everyone was like, Bitcoin's stupid. And look at her
Yeah,
now,
yeah. I asked her that question. I was like, "Hey, what gave you like the steel spine to like hold during all this time when everyone's saying?" And she just kept telling me, she's just like, "Brett, I just knew it was the future. Honestly, she knew it was the future of the world." She's like, and she, by the way, she also said, just Brett, I don't buy anything else but Bitcoin. Okay, so she's very just dialed in on that, and she's just like, that's it. I just focus on that like a laser. It also helped that she works for one of the top tech companies in the world, and
she has the money to put in
she's
Bitcoin.
got the expertise and the brain power. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, super, 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 super uber smart, which is one of my favorite parts. I get to learn from folks, which has helped me to increase my knowledge of the cryptocurrency world. I'm doing the Ethereum mining with the kids now. We got 2.5 rigs going. I got to get my graphics cards all set up with this thing. My third rig, it's been sitting idle here, and then I've been investing just passively to some small coins just to get that investment
And dude, and I think
muscle growing.
that is a great example, man. Like, anyone who's not necessarily investing in crypto, here's what I would do. Go to Coinbase, set up a wallet, and just put some money in. Doesn't matter what the price is. Doesn't matter how much you put in. My point is, like, you pay attention to what you invest in, right? And so, the biblical where your treasure is, there your heart is also. Like that. That's not necessarily a bad principle. Like, that's a good principle. And so if you want to understand it, go buy some of it. And that way you start paying attention to it and you kind of learn how it works. And yeah, that would be my recommendation.
Awesome. All that being said, Mr. Ellis, are you ready for the crypto lightning round?
Let's go.
Okay, I'm making this up on the fly a little bit here. What's the number one crypto book you've recommended or gifted the most in the past year?
I've never read a crypto book. I've learned and follow people on Twitter.
What's the number one crypto Twitter person that you follow in the last year?
Pintoshi.
What's the number one crypto coin that you're looking at as the future of all crypto? What are your couple of your favorites?
I do Bitcoin, Ethereum. I invest in some Solana, some different stuff, but honestly, that those are all stupid ideas. I just invest in Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Okay. Question number 3. What's your most at 4? Are we at 4 already? It's fast. What's your most exciting blockchain technology that you're exploring for real estate?
Yeah, man. There's this company called I had him on our podcast show, Peter Rex, and he is launching the first deal out in Austin, Texas, $1 per share. And I think we're definitely going to put some money into it and support him. And he's creating a block, essentially a blockchain for real estate. So we're really excited to support him. Peter Rex, Rex.com. Happy to give him a shout out.
What's your most exciting multifamily investment real estate deal that you're looking forward to potentially doing this year? Where is it located?
The one we're working on, man. Whatever deal we're working on right now is the one I'm excited about. We never do bad deals, man. We're doing great deals. We're finding great assets. We have people all over the country that we're connected with. Our network is amazing. And so, dude, whatever deal we're working on is the one I'm excited about. I don't know when this podcast will go live and how much I can talk about this one. So all I can say is the one we're currently working on is the one I'm most excited about. Connect with me, symphonycapitalgroup.com, and that's where you can learn about that.
Excellent. And with that being said, Ellis, we're all out of time. I appreciate you being on the show. Any last words for our listeners?
No, man, I love that advice. Go get started. Go take action. Go put $100 this weekend into Coinbase and buy some Bitcoin. And but listen, I would just say this at the same time, regardless of where crypto goes, don't forget, I still think hard assets are the future, as long with he who owns the real estate will also have the power too. So to your friend who only owns Bitcoin, I totally understand that. At the same time, people need a place to put people need a place to put all this. People still need a place to live. And so I love real estate for that reason. And it's not going anywhere.
Fantastic. Ellis, thanks for being on the show. I also want to thank our listeners for listening to the episode of the Capital Gains Tax Solutions podcast. As always, we believe most high net worth individuals and those who help them, they struggle with clarifying their capital gains tax deferral options. Not having a clear plan is the enemy. Using a proven tax deferral strategy, such as the Deferred Sales Trust, is the best way for you to exit highly appreciated cryptocurrency, business, real estate, save a failed 1031 exchange, primary homes, all of the above. So you can defer millions of dollars of tax or help your clients do the same so that you can create and preserve more wealth. You can get your Deferred Sales Trust started today. The education, the understanding of it by going to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com. We have a free ebook there. We also have our YouTube channel with tons of content that you can start to consume. We have our book coming out too. Look for this coming out, dropping on Amazon here the next 30 days. It's Building a Tax Deferred Exit Strategy, the proven playbook for unlocking your ideal wealth plan when selling assets of any kind for yourself or your clients. Some cool people like Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank will be in the book, which is pretty amazing. Commercial real estate syndicators, operators, financial advisors, really smart people. They say, hey, get in the room with some smart people. Well, I got a book and I got in the book with some smart people. So I hope you guys will check this out and support that when it comes out. Also, for our listeners on Expert CRE Secrets, we so appreciate you listening on YouTube or on the podcast. Thanks so much for being a part of the community, and we will